Hello everyone, my name is Rochelle Innocent and I'm the founder and CEO of Project Purpose. Welcome to our channel. Our community is focused on fostering the intellectual and character development in children. We do this through our parent-child workshops that are focused on 4 themes: autonomy, self-efficacy, compassion, and self-concept, in order to cultivate grit, perseverance, and resilience in each child. And we are very thrilled to be offering one of the first of its kind digital, virtual, and continuous learning environments, enabling children and parents to connect from all around the world. At Project Purpose, our overarching mandate is to renew and rebuild family, community, and relationships. Our different social media platforms provide us with an opportunity to have discussions on all topics that relate to family, community, and relationships with ourselves as well as with others, with a primary focus on mental health and education. More precisely, the ways that the institutions of mental health and education play a role and have played a role in our societies at large. These discussions and debates provide us with an opportunity to think critically about what needs to change within these structures for us to live up to our bold slogan: support, protect, and empower each child through youth-focused development, better known as leadership in juvenescence. We recognize that in valuing our children's leadership potential, this also translates as recreating and co-creating environments, both socially and politically, that will enable our children to thrive. For those of you who are particularly keen on the topic, we also write thought pieces every other Sunday, and we have one scheduled to drop this upcoming Sunday. So definitely be sure to meander over to the website and check out our content. If it is the case that you are interested in listening alternatives, well, we're available on 10 different podcast platforms for your listening leisure, and we've provided you with access to the links in the description down below. Now, as is the convention, be sure to subscribe, hit that post notification bell so that you are aware of every time you post. And of course, if you like these conversations and you want to keep them going, like, comment, and share this segment. Let's get into it. Allô tout le monde. Hello everyone. I hope that you're all doing well, and I'm excited to be here. For those of you who are new, we cover topics that relate to mental health, mental wellness, and education on a week-by-week basis, and this week our topic of discussion is education. And today we're going to be talking about time management, and I thought this was a great complement to our first video this week, which was on energy management, because they are not one and the same, and sometimes we get them confused, but alas, energy management is about self-regulation and self-management, and time management is about managing your time across the different places, people, and things within your environment. So it's really about the balance between how much energy you want to expend and how much time you have a sense will be required to spend the energy that you have in mind to spend. And this is a dynamic relationship. Time and energy, the amount of time that we need to spend a certain amount of energy, or the amount of time that is required to spend a certain amount of energy, it really depends on the day. If we wake up and we're high energy, then we probably get things done in a very, short period of time. If we're waking up and we're low energy, then we really need to be conscientious and cognizant of the amount of time that we allocate to different areas, because we still want to ensure that we follow our energy principles and that we're not compromising by cutting corners on the areas where we know we derive meaning and value in placing energy in those areas. And a lot of the times what we do is we energy cut. So we cut out areas where we know that there's a healthy energy exchange because we feel like we've run out of time. And I think that this is why I have decided to list these 2 videos as educational, because I think that having an effective energy management strategy is a critical life skill. And I also think that having an effective time management strategy is also equally important and a life skill. And I don't understand how these 2 areas, these 2 fundamental abilities, are not part of our education system, because a lot of the time, if we find that we're struggling in life, if we find that we're burning out, if we find that we're having a really hard time balancing all of the different roles that we play on a day-to-day basis, or all of the different areas that require our attention, it's simply because we haven't learned the principles of effective energy and time management. So I'm here to give you the core principles for time management, and they're different from the principles I have for energy management, but the principles coalesce. They work really, really well together. So it's very important that you watch both videos and then you get a sense, build a parallel in your schedule by way of where you want to put your energy, and then how much time you recognize you need to invest in the different areas, or you need to pull away from specific areas in order to be able to accommodate all of the areas where you know your energy needs to be. I think that once you have these core fundamental principles down, then you can make adjustments, because time and energy they're interrelated, they're mutually inclusive. How much time we allocate to different areas within our life is really based on how much energy we have available to expend. And the amount of energy that we have available to expend differs on a day-to-day, week-by-week, month-by-month basis. Even if it's like a small disparity, it's enough that can really throw off our game if we're not cognizant of the different adjustments that we need to make to our time management to make sure that our energy is still spread across evenly, but according to the amount of energy that we have at our disposal. So all of that to say, let's jump into my 4 time management principles that you can adopt as early as today alongside your energy management principles, both critical life skills that will enable you to derive more meaning and fulfillment out of life. All right, so the first one is very straightforward, but it's not. It's straightforward in an abstract sense, but practically not so much. And it's about knowing yourself. You need to know yourself. And this is, you need to know when you wake up how much energy you have. And based on that knowledge, you need to know, well, how much time can you expend in the different areas that you wanted to expend energy in on that given day. So when I say know yourself, I say know yourself at an energetic level. Know who you are at all of the different peaks and valleys of energy that you experience throughout your life, really. And I think we've all experienced different energy levels, but sometimes we don't know what to do with that information. We kind of just drag our feet. But we can be strategic, we can be effective even if we're low energy. This idea that because we're feeling low energy, we just give up the day. No, we're not going to give up the day even if we have low energy. When we have low energy, we're going to be more strategic. We're going to be more inventive, more creative, so that we can still do the things we've committed to ourselves to do, but we can do it in a way where we're still aligning our time management with the energy that we recognize is at our disposal. So this really involves getting to know yourself at an energetic level, and that this is about exploration and discovery. So if you know that you feel low energy, but you don't know really how that translates, if you're still trying to put your energy in the different areas that you've committed to in your life, then you need to start. And as you cultivate the muscle, as you develop that muscle, then you're going to get better at recognizing the different time adjustments that you need to make when you have a sense of the energy that you have at your disposal. My second tip for you today is understanding the time value of energy. And this tip is very important, and a lot of the times we dismiss it because we think that there is a degree of showmanship in how much time we put into a given task, and we put a certain amount of pride to things taking more time to get done. And I have to say, we're in the digital revolution. We have so many resources and tools at our disposal that there are going to be occasions where what is impressive is how little time you've taken to do something that is still a high quality output. And the best way to do that is to recognize that even if you could spend all day, take a step back and think, well, how can I be efficient with my time? How can I approach this valuing my time, wanting to spend only as much time as I need to based on the resources that I can leverage and that are at my disposal for me to accomplish this specific goal and accomplish this specific task. And if we start approaching tasks, valuing our time as opposed to expending our time and feeling like we're gonna get validation for the amount of time we expended, if we're a little bit more conservative with our time, then we're a little bit more inventive with how we spend our time, and we're a little bit more creative with how we're going to exercise our time across a specific domain to maximize output. So I'm someone where, if I have a full day to do one specific thing and I want to spend all day doing that one specific thing, fine. I'll give myself that luxury. But if there's 5 different things that I would like to do, then I'm going to exercise my right to delegate, exercise my right to cognitive offload, to assign things to a process, so on and so forth. I'm going to be intelligent with how I expend my time because I value my time. I want to maximize all of the different things that I can do with a very efficient expenditure of time in order to do it. So I think that that's very important as the second principle. Even if you could take all day to do something, if you have resources and tools at your disposal, if you can be creative and inventive and cut that time in half without compromising on the quality of your output, then you should definitely do that. That should always be your first and foremost strategy. How can you do the absolute best with the least amount of energy put in? Working smart and not hard. My third tip for you today is that not all your time should be for sale. And some of us were very, external reward driven, and I'm not here to cast any judgment, but I'm here to talk about how we expend our time in a way where we're not compromising on the quality of life that we create for ourselves. And I think sometimes if we think that all of our time is up for sale, then we put all our time up for sale, and what we compromise in exchange of that is our physical health, we compromise our mental health, we compromise our emotional health. And if we're compromising those things, I think it tells us that it is a better long-term strategy to recognize that there's some time that we need to carve for ourselves. There's some time we need to carve for our loved ones, for our relationships, for the hobbies and the activities that, we derive pleasure and meaning from. It's just more effective of a strategy to incorporate 1 and 2 of our time management strategies. So knowing yourself and recognizing the value of time and being efficient with how much time we spend by way of very creative, the amount of time that we're spending, only spending the amount of time that we need to for a high quality output and not just expending energy for the validation of it. And I think 3 is really important. I think recognizing that when you're thinking about your time management strategy, you're always carving in time for yourself. This is one of the easiest ways of acknowledging your own self-worth and acknowledging self-love and acknowledging, self-care, just keeping yourself in mind when you think about where you put your time and energy on any given day. Being considerate of the emotional tax, of the stress tax, of all of the impacts that having your time being given out and doled out in exchange for anything is still going to have an effect on you, and keeping that effect in mind as you create and cultivate your time management strategy moving forward. Which brings us to our very last point today, and the crucial point in my opinion, and that is time is not to be wasted. And I am someone, I value time so much. I love time. I love that we have the time to do what we want to do. And yeah, maybe sometimes you want to spend your whole day binge watching TV, but if you feel sluggish after that, then you wasted time. And I think that that's the best way to know if you spent your time wisely or if you've wasted your time. Sometimes when we spend too much time doing a specific thing, we just feel the drain on our energy. And I think that is a great way to be able to make it the signal to yourself and the adjustment, well, my time and energy strategy are off balance. Because when they're balanced, when you're finished an activity, when you're finished doing something, you feel energized, or you feel at least the same that you felt when you started. But if you feel a drain of energy by the time you finish doing an activity, you did that activity for too long, you put too much of your energy into that activity, you need to make an adjustment. And I think the more that we value our time, the more we value what we do with our time, the more we'll value how much of our time we spend with the energy exchange, getting energy back as well as expending energy outward. But time is not to be wasted, because time is the one asset we don't get back. And I can't stress that enough. That should be something that is significant to all of us. We don't know how much time we have here on this planet. We have to live this one life that we have. We can do it in the most effective way possible by incorporating these principles and these strategies. Because I value life and I consider life to be very meaningful, I just think that it's just not a good strategy to be wasteful with our time. And on that note, those are my 4 time management principles, and I think that if we incorporate them, we're going to see a huge difference in how we spend our time on a day-to-day basis and how much energy we get back for the time that we spend as well. And I want to close on that note, but just before you head off, I just wanted to let you know that we are planning going live at least twice a month, every month for the foreseeable future on our Facebook page, so we invite you to join us. Now, these events events are paid events. So if you do see yourself participating in our community on an ongoing basis, then I suggest you purchase one of our package plans, which gives you access to discounts and unlimited access to our live events, and also access to the workshops and webinars that we plan on hosting that focus more or less on self-mastery in order to derive more meaning and fulfillment out of life. So cultivating the soft skills and critical thinking skills that we believe are required to just draw more out of life. So that's it for today's segment. I really hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that you incorporate these principles. Leave a comment down below if you've tried any of these principles and what was the return on that investment. And we'll talk to you soon.